Hello all, and welcome back to Tangents on Cracked Spines. If you're new here, welcome. As a quick intro, I'm Frankie, and I generally read with unedited personal commentary on any story in the public domain. Today is a special episode for Valentine's Day, so I'll be reading a couple of different poems. I don't believe I'll need a content warning, but Edgar Allen Poe is in here, so we'll see. So 3 poems. First one, A Valentine by Edgar Allen Poe. For her this rhyme is penned whose luminous eyes, brightly expressive as the twins of Leda, shall find her own sweet name that nestled lies upon the page, enwrapped from every reader. Search narrowly the lines, they hold a treasure divine, a talisman, an amulet, that must be worn at heart. Search well the measure, the words, the syllables, do not forget the trivialest point, or you may lose your labor. And yet there is in this no Gordian knot, which one might not undo without a saber, if one could merely comprehend the plot. And written upon the leaf, where now are peering eyes scintillating soul, there lie purtis 3 eloquent words oft uttered in the hearing of poets by poets, as the name is a poet's too. Its letters, although naturally lying, like the knight Pinto Mendez Ferdinando, still form a synonym for truth. Cease trying. You will not read the riddle, though you do the best you can do. All right. That's how good old E.A. Poe writes a Valentine. The second one is by Lewis Carroll. I haven't read any of these, by the way. It's probably a terrible thing to say, but I hadn't read the ones that I'd chosen. I mostly went, ooh, I recognize these names. Sent to a friend who had complained that I was glad enough to see him when he came, but didn't seem to miss him if he stayed away. And cannot pleasures, while they last, be actual, unless, when past, they leave us shuddering and aghast, with anguish smarting? And cannot friends be firm and fast, and yet bear parting? And must I then, at friendship's call, calmly resign the little all? Trifling, I grant, it is and small, I have of gladness, and lend my being to the thrall of gloom and sadness? And think you that I should be dumb and full dolorum omnium, excepting when you choose to come and share my dinner? At other times be sour and glum and daily thinner. Must he then only live to weep, who'd prove his friendship true and deep? By day in lonely shadow creep, at nighttime languish, oft raising in his broken sleep the moan of anguish? The lover, if for certain days his fair one be denied his gaze, sinks not in grief and wild amaze, but wiser, wooer. He spends the time in writing lays and posts them to her. And if the verse flow free and fast, till even the poet is aghast, a touching Valentine at last, the post shall carry, when 13 days are gone and past of February. Farewell, dear friend, and when we meet in desert waste or crowded street, perhaps before this week shall fleet, perhaps tomorrow, I trust to find your heart the seat of wasting sorrow. Alright, I actually really liked that one. And last is Valentines from a Bibliophile by Arthur Macy. And he actually wrote a bunch of these, like Valentine's from a you name it. But seeing as this is a podcast based on stories, I figured this one would be the best. Like some choice book thou art to me, bound all so daintily, and 'neath the covers fair are contents true and rare. Nay, would I look, nay, read in any other book, if I but could find therein the chart and indice to thy heart. The great wise author made but one of this edition, then was done, and were this only copy mine, then would I write therein my Valentine. I'm sorry, that one's cute. You are a rare edition of a book, and I would be glad to call you mine. I'm not one for romance, but that is adorable. And we see I have so much going on in my life. I'm recording this on Valentine's Day. But that's where we're gonna end. Thank you all for listening. For typical podcast business, if you enjoyed this, please subscribe, rate, and review. Apparently 5 stars helps people find me more. But just letting other people know about it if you enjoyed it makes me happy. And I do have a YouTube channel now. It's still Tangents on Cracked Spines. There's nothing new there. I am just putting my audio to the cover of the book we're reading, and I'm putting them in playlists by book. So, but it's there. I now have another way to access. And for all of those alone or with loved ones, happy Valentine's Day. Regardless of whether you view it through the morbidity of death and tribulation, or just for the heart.